So I thought we might do a simple video, just some candle magic questions that I often receive. And, sort of like an FAQ we'll do, but just a few questions. But the first one is, how long will it take for my candle spell to work? And people ask this one all the time. It's the question everyone asks. And there is really no ironclad answer. I mean, I always tell people, how long does it take for a prayer to work? Candle magic is based on the principles of sympathetic magic and energy manipulation. So, determining a time frame is difficult because everyone's situation is completely different. A spell is meant to petition the spirits or God, goddess, the universe, whatever you want to call it, to open up a door for you and to give you a shot at making this thing happen. And the main thing I ask people is, are you doing everything humanly possible on your end to manifest what you're asking for? Are you behaving in a way that aligns with what you're seeking? And are you acting and reacting to situations that arise in your life in a positive way, to deliver what you're asking for? Are you being honest with yourself about the part you played in whatever this situation was that brought you to this point? So that's a big thing behind the candle magic. It can't just be about lighting a candle. It has to be your constant participation in helping to make this happen. So yeah, you want the candle spell to open a door for you, but once it's opened, I mean, you've got to be the one to walk through it. You've got to get the wheels in motion um, in the real world to make things happen. So once again, how long will it take? No idea. No idea. Because it's all up to you. It's partly a big part of it. I would say 70 to 80% is what are you doing? What are you doing? And the rest is the spell work. People may disagree with me. That's what I think. Question I get is, what is anointing or dressing a candle? So, when you anoint or dress a candle, it involves basically coating it with oils, herbs, other ingredients that will enhance its energy and align with what your intention is. I mean, this process is believed to empower the candle and increase its effectiveness, whatever spell or ritual you're trying to perform. So the thing is and use good oils, oils that have been created by someone who knows what they're doing. Is this oil actually made with the historical herbs, roots, flowers that are aligned with this magical work that you're doing? So yeah, rubbing them on them is one way of doing it, also on objects, but that would be called anointing a candle. Some people ask, can I use scented candles in candle magic? Well, yeah, I mean, scented candles can be used in candle magic if the fragrance aligns with the intention of the spell or ritual. That's partly true. We'll go back to that. However, some people prefer unscented candles to avoid any interference with like these additional energies the fragrance may carry. With that being said, a regular scented candle for any purpose is the perfect way to disguise candle magic in plain sight. So before lighting the candle for the first time, let's say you bought one from just a fragrance store, like at our store, Rummagey's Botanica. We do fragrance candles that aren't magical; they're just meant for the home and to make it smell pretty. Or let's say you went to Yankee Candle, or you just got one, I don't know, from Walgreens or something. Before you light it, scratch a petition into it or sigils into that wax, and then light it. And as the melt pool absorbs your words, it'll carry them, down through the candle through the entire burning process. So no one in the house has to even know you're doing a spell candle. It's It just looks like a regular scented candle, but you have turned it into a spell candle. That's good for people who, they're not around people who like magic or support that. Another question: how do I extinguish a candle after a spell or ritual? So it's generally recommended to let candles burn down completely, as long as you do it, in a safe manner. However, if you need to extinguish a candle, you can use a candle snuffer, or I tell people to gently blow out the flame. I mean, some practitioners believe that blowing out a spell candle cancels out its magic, and I was taught the opposite. And I always blow my candles out, because my a lot of the people that taught me were like, listen, it's your spell. You're the one who crafted it. You're the one who anointed the candle. You're the one praying over it, and it's your breath blowing it out. So as long as your intention is, hey, this isn't the end of the spell, this is the end of the session for the day, and we're going to come back to this. So it's up to you whether you want to sniff it out or blow it out. To me, it doesn't make a difference. It is how you approach it. Question: what if I'm out of a certain candle color? Will I have to postpone my spell? And color candles are a fairly new thing in the history of candle manufacturing. You can always use the color white to replace any other candle color, because before, white, or like off-white or tallow or whatever, that's all they had. So white can replace anything. Let's see. My 7-day candle only burned for 5 or 6 days. Is this a bad sign? And I say not necessarily, because while they're known as 7-day candles, there's a great many manufacturers changed the way that they make these candles several years ago. And they produce a slightly smaller glass container. So traditionally, 7-day candles are made in a hard paraffin wax. So another problem you might find with them, if you get them in discount stores, is they're made with this cheaper, softer wax. And most of the time, these candles you'll find them like $1 or $2. And I found they don't make good candles for spell work and divination, especially if you're divining in the glass and the wax that's left on it, because they always create soot. I mean, this soot from a cheap candle has nothing to do with your situation. It's all about the fact that you've got a cheap candle. So it fools a lot of people into thinking, oh my God, it's covered in soot, things are terrible, we're all going to jump out the windows. No, it just means you bought a cheap candle. So sometimes that's why it burns more quickly. Other times I say, maybe the problem at hand wasn't that hard to tackle, and your candle just ripped right through it. That's why it burned kind of quickly. I don't feel safe leaving my candles burning when I'm not at home. What can I do? Okay, so we do lots of things. So if you feel safer extinguishing your candles before leaving home, it's not a problem. And simply relight them and state your intention, your prayer again. We burn many of them outside in chimneys, fireplaces, where it's in a fire safe condition. It's actually on our patio, which is surrounded by a brick wall. The patio itself is concrete, so it's not like a wooden deck. And then it's actually inside a fireplace. These little chimneys that have fire safe stones inside. So to me, that's a lot of protection. Some people may put it in an aquarium that they put sand in the bottom. So in case it breaks into that. Some people put them in the bathtub. That all depends on if you have your shower curtain out of the way, if you have pets. So there's lots of things you can do. Put them down in another glass hurricane. In case it breaks into that. So, but always be safe first. Do whatever you feel the safest with, because you having anxiety about it burning the entire time you're at work is not adding good energy to that spell. And someone else asked, I can't bury the remains of my spells because of where I live. What do I do with all these candle jars? And I tell people it's perfectly fine to throw them away, the empty jars. I just, because I do this for people all the time, so I can't bury hundreds and hundreds of jars in my backyard. So I simply thank the candle for working for me, thank it for its work, and then I throw it away. Some people, might clean the jars and recycle them, but yeah, as someone who does a lot of candle spill works for other people, there's just no way for me to bury all these or to sit there and clean hundreds of them. So yeah, that's what I do is I simply thank them for their work. Thank you for everything you've done, and toss it out. So I hope this has been helpful. It's just a couple of candle magic tips. Let me know if you have more questions about anything, or there's other FAQ videos you want me to make. So until next time, this is Papa G. Bye-bye.